let's go ahead and get this thing started. We're going to talk about some motivation. We're going to talk about some meditation. We're going to talk about some inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. We can start getting ourselves into the mentality, into the ability to utilize what we have inside, utilize our focus, our knowledge, our discipline, our ability to go beyond our challenges, to put ourselves in a place where we believe in who we are and we believe in our abilities. Each day we get on here asking that question, is what I'm doing today motivation, meditation, or inspiration? Because if it's not one of the three, I don't want it. So what is it that you're focused into? How are you utilizing your energy? Where are you utilizing your energy? Is your vibration starting to happen? Is your ability inside of who you are starting to open up? Do the people around you see you for who you are? Do they see you for your challenges? Do they see you for your ability inside of who you are to focus to that point? And so as we build this network, YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, and podcasts, we need to start asking ourselves those types of questions. Do we want to connect with that kind of community? Facebook, Discipline 101, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, Yoga. We got a lot going on here, my friends. We got a lot in our mentality, a lot in our ability. Success is up to you. It's up to your ability to sit down with yourself and to continue when other people will quit. Your ability to continue when other people would just give up, and to be able to learn from yourself, learn from your abilities inside of who you are, learn from your mentality, learn from the challenges that you face off against, the things that you're going through on a daily basis, the things that your mentality is getting to. And a lot of us ask that type of question on a daily. We ask ourselves, how do we utilize what we have? How do we put ourselves on a page where the mentality starts to open up? How do we start to put ourselves on a page where we utilize what we truly have inside of who we are? And sometimes it takes sitting down and studying. So are you giving yourself that kind of time? Are you putting yourself in a place where you utilize that kind of mentality, where the ability inside of yourself starts to radiate, the ability to overcome your challenges with who you are on the inside, with who you want to become? And so each day we give ourselves that kind of place to apply our energy. Each day that we put ourselves in that kind of mentality, that means that you have the ability to grow. It means that the challenges that you're facing off against, you start to embrace the belief in ourselves. So are we utilizing that? Are we embracing our ability? Are we seeing that, other people are going to have challenges? When do you embrace your own challenges? When do you embrace your own being and allow yourself to uplift people by you being you? So these are the types of questions we're going to ask today. This speech about today, this is about you. This speech is for you. It's for you to hear what I'm saying and listen, and to ask yourself those types of questions. Do I want to connect with a network of disciplined people? Do I want to connect with a network where I give myself the ability to grow, where the challenges that I go through, the things that I'm going through on a daily basis, I have the ability to overcome? And that's the type of question we start to get down with inside of who we are. It's the question that we start to get down with when we want to believe in ourselves. And how do you start to? How do you start to put yourself in a place where you utilize what you have inside? Where you start to focus to the point where you have the ability to see that you can do things that other people called impossible. That when your mentality starts to open up, when your ability starts to open up inside of who you are. And so how do we focus to that point? How do we give ourselves that place to overcome those kinds of challenges, to overcome those types of things that go on within ourselves? See, these are the types of questions we got to start asking ourselves. We got to start asking ourselves, how can we truly be who we are inside? How can we go beyond the ego, beyond the things that other people would not be willing to? How do you start to learn from yourselves? How do you start to get that vibration on track? How do you start to get it to become a place where you are so focused that it isn't about somebody else that you're doing things? It's about who you are inside. It's about who you want to become. It's about who you want to dream to overcome your challenges in such a positive way, in such a positive manner, in such a positive mentality. And you see, when you have that kind of vibration, when you have that kind of mentality, people start seeking you out as motivation. That's right, my friends. You all have it. It's inside of you. It's waiting for you to open up to it. It's waiting for you to pick up that book. It's waiting for you to pick up that page. It's waiting for you to write that stuff down, to put it in front of yourselves, to start to ask yourself the questions nobody else can for you. And it's not their job to. So when do you start to put yourself on a page where you believe in who you are, where you start to believe in your mentality, where you start to believe in your ability inside of yourselves, where you start utilizing what you have inside, where you start utilizing your mentality? Because a lot of people disable themselves. Even the word itself means disabled. It means not able to do, not able to achieve. And que fala português no habla el português. Mil familia Pereira. So when we utilize our challenges, we have the ability to overcome them. When we put ourselves in a place where the mentality has the vibration, where it has the ability to be who you are, to be the person that you are inside, to have the understanding that you can focus on things and you can achieve dreams for yourselves, that you can truly achieve amazing things when you put yourself on a page where you utilize your ability inside of you. And so how do you start to do that? How do you start to put yourself on that kind of page? How do you start to put yourself to where your mentality starts to open up, where the human being that you are starts to open up? And this is where we're going, my friends. This journey, this path that we're on, it's a blessing when you leave people with blessings, when you're so positive that what you get, you receive. And you see, when you give more than you receive, the blessings come your way. The blessings come such an amazing way. They come in such an amazing ability. And I see these things happening on a daily basis. I see them happening in such a way that the ability inside of oneself's mentality starts to open up. And they start to recognize themselves. They start to allow the person inside to grow. They allow the mentality to happen. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how you can use this in your professions, how you can use this on your journeys, how you can use this in your homes and in your companionships. So why is that important? Why is it important to focus to that point where you start to use your vibration? Because you are energy. The emotion, the word itself means energy in motion. It means E for energy. Are you applying your energy in that way? Are you putting yourself in a place where you're focused into positivity, where the ability has that ability for your energy to have a purpose, to have a part in your path? And so how can we start to apply that with study? The same way we do in school, where we write stuff down. What do you write down? What are your dreams that you want to achieve? What are the things that you want to overcome? How do you want to see your future? How do you want to achieve your challenges? And so this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about from within, that radiating outwards. I'm talking about that ability inside of oneself to see that energy, that mentality, that ability to become an able mentality, an ability to believe in yourselves. See what I'm saying? I'm saying when you focus into positivity and you allow the things that aren't meant for you to leave, they do it on their own. When you give yourself that ability to be honest with yourselves, to focus to that point where you're going to see positivity, where the things that aren't meant for you move out of the way on their own, that's what happens. It just happens that way because the body in motion stays in motion. If you continue to look for a positive angle, you will find that one place where it will happen, where that part of yourself starts to open up, where that part of yourself starts to become, where it just is that much, that one step before that you couldn't see was getting ready to set you up for the one that you want to have, the one that you want to overcome. And so how do we focus to that level? How do we put ourselves in a place where the heat on the outside isn't greater than you? And that was a question I ended up asking. And I tried to figure it out, and I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to share the time that I spent sleeping in my van so that those people who are going through those types of things can understand that for themselves. I wanted to share the ability to wash clothes by hand. I wanted to share the ability to be the top salesman. I wanted to share the ability to understand all situations and to see that we are blessings on the face of this planet. And so as I help people, as I build a community, as the mentality starts to open up, as the ability recognize it isn't versus somebody else that you achieve your dreams. It's when you believe in yourselves. It's when you put yourself on a page where you're not fighting a battle versus anybody else. When you see your own journey, when you see your own path. And it's awesome because like today, I had put out a Facebook quote that said, it was a test. It said, friends, test, name something I love. Okay, all right. So the people that put that out, Lizette Muller, meditation. Jay, sauna. Tina, my dog Honey, and helping other people. That's right. Today, I went out with a friend, someone very close to me. We got drinks. I bought 3 drinks. Okay. So they call these things yukuchi. They're from like Japan or so. They're like a yogurt drink, right? So I like that kind of stuff. I like that kind of sushi type stuff. And so I go there and I'm leaving. And as I'm leaving, I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I see a homeless guy. And I see a homeless guy and I remembered that when you give, you receive more in return. When you put it out there, and so I handed it to him. And I knew inside that the blessings come back, my friends. When you give to other people, you receive. The universe puts it such a way that the blessings manifest. Is that the kind of world that we want to live in? Ask yourself that kind of question. What is it that you focus into? Okay, so like in the test here, right? Helping other people. That is a reflection of mentality. That is an ability inside of yourself to reach an understanding within you that other people help you the same way you help other people. And so how do we start to get there? And so we continue driving down. And there was another homeless person. And I gave a second drink. See, the universe had already set it up for me to have that ability to help those people. It already had set it up in such a way that the mentality had opened it up. That the ability for that mentality to be understood was there. That the ability for the universe to use me as a tool. Okay, and it can use you too. It can use your ability. It can bring you your dreams. It can bring you your abilities if you are able to open up to the point where you help other people. Where you are so into your mentality that your ability blesses other people for you to be you. That's how much the capability on the face of the planet works. We're all sons and daughters of the Most High. And then when we forget about that greatness that we hold inside, that's when we forget about the simplicity that we could be that person in that position. And when we remember that level of focus, that level of positivity, and we leave those people with those kinds of blessings, that is when we become helping other people, is helping you, my friends. So if you're going to places and you're going to eat or you're going to somewhere, leave that person a little bit of a tip. Let the universe work for you. Let the universe work through you. Let the understanding of what I'm talking about soak in. Let it start to seep into your being. Let it seep into your understanding that when you want to achieve your positions, when you want to achieve your companionships, when you want to achieve your homes, that your vibration matters. Okay, it matters down to the very essence of your being. If you want to be healthy, are you doing the things to put yourself in that place? To put yourself in that kind of mentality? Okay, I have a mat that I set down that's knitted for meditation. Each day I give myself a little bit of time to sit down and do meditation, to put in simplicity of understanding, the simplicity of focus, the simplicity of being. I've been doing this for nearly a decade. Okay, I've been in that mentality. I've broken barriers like 5 hours inside of a sauna without even walking out. The mentality of understanding that we're all part of this great thing and we are as simple as human beings. And so as we sit down at that level, as we give ourselves that place, as we allow the journey that each of us are on, as we allow that journey to be focused in positivity, focused in ability, the growth inside becomes an understanding. And so how do we start to study to that level where we can become masters of that part of our being, of that part of our purpose, of that part of our journey? And so those are the types of questions that we start to embark upon. Do we start to learn from ourselves? Do we start to learn from our challenges? Do we start to learn from our mentality? And you see, when we enable ourselves, when we believe that we can, when we put ourselves in a positive place that if you don't know if there's a way, you're going to make a way. And I looked around me. I asked myself the question, there are motivational speakers, there are meditation instructors, and there are inspirational people. But are there people who focus to the point where knowledge becomes accessible to the place of discipline, where reflection is motivation, meditation, and inspiration? That's what this guy is about. It's about that mentality. It's about reaching that level within yourself where you are focused beyond focus, knowledge beyond knowledge, discipline beyond discipline, where it's not just you that it's affected in the world, where other people see you helping other people by you being yourselves. That's how you achieve it in your professions. If you want the top, it's not when you take down others. It's when you focus to the point where you recognize the universe will give to you. It will bring people in your direction that are meant to be there in your lives, that are meant to bring you closer to yourself, that are meant to bring you closer to your being, meant to bring you closer to your vibration. That when you utilize that kind of energy, when you utilize that kind of understanding, when you utilize that kind of being, that we focus to that point, that it is so sharp that it cuts through the universe, that when you're writing stuff down, what you're putting down starts to come to you. It starts to happen for you. It starts to organize itself to the place where you elevate to that point of focus. And that place is sharp. It takes you being on top of your game. Okay, when you're competing against other people for that highest position in your professions, and when you are in your mentality, in your understanding, in your being, you are seeking out a place of foundation. And so how do we focus to the point where we get that kind of foundation? How do we start putting ourselves in that place? And I started to recognize that in school, we wrote stuff down. In school, we took notes. In school, we did instructionals. We did things that put us in a place where, why are we not doing that today? When I was working for Chrysler, I would go and sit down in meetings on every Friday at 8 a.m., even though work usually starts at 9. That Friday was a meeting, and everybody had to be there. And the reason why was because the vibration had to have a positive ability to open up. It had to have a possibility to write stuff down, to put things in order, to put things on a page where you start to dominate your life, where you start to believe in yourself, where you start to overcome your challenges, that it isn't versus somebody else, it's when you believe in you. And that is not a war for me to fight for you. It is one for you to bring on within yourself, to tremble to the point where you achieve your dreams, to tremble to the point where you utilize your part, where you utilize your journey. I'm on my journey, okay? I've been doing this for years. I just started sharing this lately. I just started putting it out there so others can see it, so they can achieve it for themselves, so they could put themselves in a place where the mentality started to open up. I remember being at a point where people said, you have a learning disability. Okay, I remember working for Chrysler when I couldn't even spell. Okay, doing credit applications with Google because I couldn't even put it down. Okay, And I remember those same people coming back and asking me how to do it. Okay? I'm telling you, it's not what you don't have. It's what you do with what you got. It's when you put your mentality at a point where your vibration is such in a place that you're first and second place every month, when you are so spit thin that no matter what, I remember working for Chrysler 50, 60 hours a week and driving 35 to 40 hours a week on top of that, working with over 100,000 people, sitting here teaching meditation, see here thinking in mentality, thinking in the ability within oneself, the vibration, the universe utilizing your gifts, utilizing your talents, utilizing your mentality. Ask yourself this position. Have you ever been in a position where you didn't know how to do things? Did you sit down and study to the point where you could put yourself in a place where you can believe in yourselves, where you can believe in your ability, where you can believe in your mentality? And so, are you with an able mentality? Are you with an ability inside of yourself where you start to study on you, where you start to become within you? And you know what's great? This time has actually brought a reflection of that. It's brought a place of that. It's brought an understanding that the things that we truly want to achieve, we have to focus into, my friends. Are you hearing what I'm saying? What is it that you're writing down? What is it that you're putting on paper? What is it that you're achieving? Are you creating lists that you're achieving? Are you creating things that you're going through? Are you creating a mentality in such a way that you deserve the results? Are you getting to that place inside of yourself where you focus past your challenges, where you believe in yourself, where you become that focused, where the results you get to keep? And it's inside of ourselves, blessings, that we see that kind of mentality. No fale português. Minha família é português. Fala São Paulo e Brazil. Okay, so back to speaking. So when we utilize this inside of ourselves, when we utilize this ability inside of our mentality, inside of our being, you see, a lot of people view me and they think of me as a Zen. And it's because I've gone within. I've gone to that level of understanding where we can as well, where each person can believe in themselves at that level, where they can achieve that vibration, where they can achieve that being, they can achieve that light, they can achieve that understanding. And we always are growing, my friends. We're always focusing into what we want to achieve. When do we start to decide what's positive in our lives? When do we start to utilize our mentalities? When do we start to utilize our ability inside of who we are? That's what I'm after. I inspire you to do that. I inspire you to reach the highest mountaintops within yourself, to take your own journeys, to take your own paths, to take your own purpose. And within your being, within your path, within your journey, there's a mastery waiting for you. There's a mastery waiting within your being, within your understanding. How focused are you on achieving your goals, on achieving your dreams, on achieving your ability to believe in yourselves? See, this is what I'm talking about. Are you letting those things that are meant for you move out of the way on their own? Are you allowing those things that are within you to vibrate? Are you allowing those things inside of yourself to overcome your challenges? Are you allowing yourself to go to the point where you have that ability to believe in yourselves? And so, how do we start to focus to that point? What is it that you listen to? What is it that you listen to? How do you put yourself in that kind of mentality where you can focus to that point, where you can start to see that ability inside of yourselves? You can see that ability inside of your being. You can see that ability inside of your focus, inside of your vibration. And as we sit inside, as we give ourselves that place, as we soak that in, as we put ourselves in a place where the opening is within you, it will open in front of you. The challenges will overcome. The belief in yourself to be yourself will open up. And so, are we focusing to that level? Are we getting ourselves to that place where we find that's within ourselves, within our beings, within our manifestations? And so, how do we focus to that point where we utilize what we have? You got to allow the things that aren't meant for you to move out of the way. It's not always easy, my friends, to believe in yourself. In fact, there is times when you believe in yourself, the universe is going to test you. It's going to ask you the questions. Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your ability? Can you find that place of focus, of understanding? Can you find the river that you have to cross, the ability to make it through it, to get to the other side, where it's shaking cold and you're drying? See, this is the type of understanding I'm talking about. I'm talking about the place where we utilize what we have inside of ourselves, where we utilize the being at a level where you allow positivity into your life, where you allow positivity to bring you closer to yourself, closer to your being, closer to your purpose. And each day that we do that for ourselves, each day that we understand who we are, that we understand the being within ourselves, within our vibrations, within our focus, and within our knowledge, that you can do things when you believe in you. How do we start to put that vibration in such a place that what we write down starts to become possible? That's the questions we should be asking ourselves. Not only if we can write stuff down, but how do we write stuff down? Do we apply it? In school, they put a paper in front of you. They let you study. They let you put it in place. But always there's a test. There's always a test in the place. Are you testing your life? Are you becoming that kind of student where you achieve that pay raise, where you achieve that understanding, where you achieve that knowledge inside of yourself that you can enable who you are? How do you start to ask yourself that type of thing? I just watched a letter that came out that talked about a guy who was blind, who got his associate's degree because he put his mind to a place of focus where the possibility opened up. Are you giving yourself that ability to even achieve that kind of possibility? Sure, you can call in. I definitely do energy readings as well. You're welcome to call in and get yourself an energy reading while I'm going at it. And so when we utilize what we have inside, so then I can't do one. So when we utilize what we have inside of our beings, we utilize our focus to that level. We utilize that focus within the being, within the vibration, within the energy, within oneself, to understand it, to be within it, to be focused on it. And see, when I started to focus to that level, I even found out that they have a word for that level of focus. When we utilize that energy within ourselves, we become something amazing. The knowledge within the universe starts to open up. When we utilize the energy inside of ourselves, we can overcome challenges. We can find abilities within oneself for mentality to start to open up. The ability to overcome these things that we face off against on a daily basis is within us all. But it requires a level of focus to the point where you believe in yourselves, where you believe in your abilities, where you believe that you can do things that other people would call impossible. And that requires positive thinking, requires positive ability. It requires Newton's third law, which is for each action there's an equal and opposite reaction. And so understanding this, understanding how to utilize it, how to understand within yourself that you can start to put yourself in a positive place. When you start to do that, that's when parts of yourself start to open up. Parts of your ability, parts of your reflection start to radiate light outwards. And so Are we doing that within ourselves? And so in the universe, we can look at it as positive and negative forces. For each action, there's an equal and opposite. All energy is a pliable energy in such a way that Einstein stated that mass and energy are interchangeable. We are both mass, but we are both energy. So when we utilize science and we utilize the blessings of the Most High at the same time, the ability to overcome things like pains, like fears, like emotions become possible, to let the pains become your teachers, that you can overcome them. And so when you fill yourself with that kind of energy, the healing within inside can open up. The healing within the mentality could start to become possible. It's with that kind of place that being possible starts to become possible. And once it becomes possible, it's within your grasp. But it's up to you to want it for yourself. It's up to you to want to become the student in your life to start to utilize that self-understanding, that self-being. And so possibly for the person in Periscope, that might answer the question to why positive thinking is such a way that it allows the negativity out of the way. But it takes self-honesty to get there. It takes a place of understanding oneself, of sitting down inside of one's being, of being in such a way that you allow the things that aren't meant for you to move out of the way on their own, so that you're no longer being crushed on the inside. There's also both the lotus and the kundalini and the qigong that exists within. And so when we understand this, if you're looking for teaching and you're looking for understanding, you can go watch my 300 plus videos on YouTube. On my website, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, will take you directly to my link. I'm on multiple platforms. And so when we give ourselves that ability to put that energy in such a way that we can become the student in our lives, okay, when we can become the student for ourselves, that's when the qualification to be yourself starts to open up. It's when your mentality starts to open up. It's when your ability inside of yourself starts to center it within oneself. You see, today I went with a friend to go pick up a couch. And they said blessings. And you see, I leave blessings because I learned after hundreds and hundreds of people, over 5,000 people that I learned how to communicate with. I've spoken to over 100,000 in total. I did 3.5 years of telesales, 2.5 years of car sales, and 5 years of Uber driving. And so what I'm telling you right now, with the hundreds of thousands of people that I've worked with, nearly 100,000 people I've spoken to over the last 7 years, the network Discipline 101 on Facebook, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration, the ability to hear what I'm saying, the ability to utilize what I'm saying. I found myself at one time loving somebody more than I loved myself. And I'm telling you how to get to the place within yourselves where you can become the student in your life, where you can have the patience within yourself to overcome your emotions, to gain liberation within oneself, to understand your being, to understand your purpose, to understand your path, to understand your purpose. And so, how do we start to gain access to that part of ourselves? Through energy within the being, that the whole entire vibration matters, that you matter, that the purpose to be within oneself is to understand that there is a reason why we are called beings. You see what I'm saying? They recognize that we are humans, but we are present within ourselves. When we center ourselves, when do we truly overcome those types of things? And so it's interesting that I'm being asked this question. How about this? Okay, go listen to my videos. Go listen to my work for yourself. Answer that question for yourself. Because not only is the best teacher inside, but also the best student is inside of oneself. See, I'm not trying to take from you. I want to uplift you. I want you to see yourself. I want you to believe in yourself. I want you to learn from yourself. I want you to understand yourself and overcome your challenges for yourself in such a way that you start to understand your being, that you start to find self-honesty, you start to find self-observation, self-purpose. And I remember that stage where I loved somebody more than I loved myself. And I knew inside that I had to spend time. I had to spend time observing myself. And so, as we start to do that within who we are, we start to believe in ourselves. We start to learn from the lessons within oneself. They help you to overcome your challenges. They help you to believe that you can do things, that the beauty that's inside of oneself is there. It's inside of the understanding that the student and the teacher is within. When we become centered, see, our hands work in such a way that this is representing focus and this represents knowledge. But when we put them together, there is still that peace, and that peace is you. And so as I talk about meditation, okay, as I talk about the understanding within oneself, within one's purpose, within one's path, it's all for you on your own path. And so the question that I'm being asked here is a very interesting question. Can we do that? Listen to me. If we took one person and we put them in a tunnel, at the very end of the tunnel, and we turned out all of the lights, that is what it's like to wake up, my friends. When you decide to get up, you might cry. You might fear. But when you truly decide to get up within yourself, nobody else can stop you from your walk. Nobody else can stop you from your journey. Nobody else can stop you from your path. And so you see, meditation is the whole being. It's how you live your lives. It's how you put yourself in place. It's how you vibrate with the energy within. So when people come to me to learn, or they come to me to ask, or they come to me, they're really learning from themselves. They once asked Bruce Lee the same question. They asked Bruce Lee, if I come to you to learn from you, what am I going to learn? That you're going to learn ultimately about yourself from you. That you are both the best student and the best teacher in your life. You see, you're going to learn how to enable your mentality by hearing what I'm saying. That you already have it inside of you. That when you sit down in your dark tunnel and you start to overcome those pains, you start to overcome those fears, you start to overcome those emotions, that the knowledge inside of you will start to open up. And you see, when people see this, that understanding starts to grow within. That understanding starts to become. That understanding to become your best friend. And inside of oneself comes from patience. Okay? I'm going to tell this story because I was asked a very interesting question here. And so, have you ever heard of the inner critical voice? You know what's interesting? I was inside of a sauna once. And I was talking myself up. Okay? A lot of people who run, they do that. Okay, come on, just one more mile. Come on, self. We can do this. We can believe in who we are. Okay? So when you connect with this one and this one inside becomes the best friend to you, that is when you know you start to become centered within yourselves. Okay? It's when you become centered within your understanding that you can grow inside of you. That you can be who you want to be. Believe in yourself to that point where you can become best friends. When that knowledge comes in, it reflects as self-love. Because the care comes from knowledge. I'm talking at a higher level where a lot of yogis don't take people to understand. They're not willing to jump that jump to uplift others to be at that point. to get to that place inside of oneself where we see our own journeys and we allow those things that aren't meant for us to move out of the way on their own. You see what I'm saying? It's not for us to hold back. It's for us to allow the blessings to come our ways. And when you see that, remember your own challenges. Remember your own being. Remember that you are present within yourselves, that you are present within your journey, that when peace comes to your mentality, comes to your heart, comes to your voice, comes to your depth perception, that a level of understanding comes from within. And it takes discipline. It takes a place of centering oneself where focus and knowledge sees a point. That I can no longer say thank you. The reason I can no longer say thank you is because I want to leave blessings for people. The same way that I gave those people those drinks. It wouldn't matter who it is, my friends. We need humanity. We need understanding. We need purpose. We need our paths. And a lot of people have forgotten about that because time has sped up. At the same time, slowed down as much. To center oneself to that point where they can go past that point of heat to that tip where they're so sharp that discipline becomes a reflection of inspiration. And when we do that for ourselves, when we give ourselves that ability, when we become that student in our lives, we become that student in our paths, and we become that student in our journeys, that's when beautiful things come your way. You see, beautiful things come your way from your own understanding. It's almost like jujitsu. Okay, so jujitsu was formed to combat karate. It's like a whole bunch of people are on a strike, but they forget who they're striking against. Themselves. How do we find a level of discipline within our beings where we no longer fight ourselves? We no longer fight the person inside, where we slow down to crystal clear understanding, to clear waters, to clear being. It's so interesting that you go to the ocean, you see the water so calm, even when it's crashing down, it's still smooth. It still has its purpose, still has its path, and that there are many things inside of the water that benefit from the energy of the water. And when we are going through challenges and we see things working against us, we have to remember our being has a vibration. It has a path. It has a journey. It has a purpose. Each of us seek that. Instead, let's seek ourselves and let us be like the water. You see, others benefit when you believe in you. Others benefit when you become yourself, when you uplift other people, when you gain that place inside of yourself where your journey is worth it, where your very breath, your essence of your being, your energy comes from within you. And when you do that in here and in here and in here, and the rest of the energies inside of you become that, you wake up. And when you wake up to become that kind of blessing, that's what we're meant for on the face of the planet, my friends. See, being oneself is what it's about. It's not about all the other things. It's about finding this thing, about finding the person inside of you, the person on the journey that you're on, to be simply yourself that brings beauty out of you. When you speak greatness into yourself, the belief that you can achieve dreams becomes possible. And it's in school that they teach otherwise. When do we start on the schooling of oneself? And so it's inside of the whole vibration. I remember sitting down cross-legged in lotus pose for 40 plus days, every day for a minimum of 1 hour. I remember the knees reaching the point of oranges, becoming swollen, and the reflection becoming an understanding, and having the patience and the growth within oneself to overcome. I remember reaching the point where I was willing to break so I could break the ego from the understanding. See, when we do that, when we remember those people, like those homeless people, that you are as simply as one step away from where they are, that the simplicity inside of yourself starts to open up. It's so simple to be beautiful in this world, my friends. It's so simple to be understanding. It's so simple to have a purpose that if you just look around you, you will see it. Be kinder to the people around you. Be gentler to the understanding. See where they are coming from. Let them be like the fish in the ocean that you are on your journey with. When we start to get there, that's when blessings start to happen around you. And that's when people start to see you for you. They start to see you for your path and your journey. You are so beautiful. You are so uplifting when you look at yourself in an angle where you're on your journey. It takes a little bit of time. Just a little bit of time for yourself. Just a little bit of time for your being, for your very vibration, to find that kind of understanding. And when you do, find a discipline that suits you, others see you for that. They see your mentality. They see your energy. And that's why I talk about energy readings, because the energy inside is so important to understand. The sevenfold system of energy that runs the human being. The understanding of the nervous system. The depth perception. The ability to voice oneself. To speak one's mind. To understand the matters of the heart. But also to be a voice of the heart. The worries, the concerns. The human being that you are. And when we start to see that, when we start to gain that part of ourselves, very good. So I was asked here to elaborate upon the nervous system. The nervous system is known as the white energy field. It flows through every single human being across the face of the planet. It looks more like cable TV. It runs the nervous system. When you are claustrophobic, when you are having challenges like that, that is where meditation helps out inside. With that energy, that is a place of knowledge. It's a sheer knowledge of the things that are going on around you, and it's a knowledge of how well one can understand their energy. That is also why in Christianity, the state of knowledge is circled in white. If you go to the London Museum, the British Museum, which I have been to, you will see paintings with white around them. So they are very well versed in the understanding of that energy field. That is also why they have people called Catholic monks. Isn't that interesting, my friends? That in the beginning, God divided the light from the dark. You seeing what I'm saying? Negative and positive forces working in this universe. The whole structure. The whole ability to get to that place where understanding lays. Where a level of discipline is you. Where a level of liberation is within you. Where a level of mentality comes from within one's being. And that's the place where you start to achieve your dreams. Your goals start to become possible. Your abilities within yourself start to overcome your challenges. And so that was a very good question to ask about that system. They call the white energy field in India the Nadi system, because it's a root set of nerves that run the energy that you can feel with. And you start to see the people that are understanding of that type in such a light that with the vibration that comes from that, you can feel. Okay? So let's go ahead and become disciplined. Let's use the person that we are inside, the energy fields within ourselves, the red energy field, the orange energy field, the yellow energy field, the green energy field, the blue energy field, the purple, and the white energy field within every human being. This is what I'm talking about. That's the way I see, okay? That's where I see. Now do you see where I see from? Because when we see that level, we see that being, when we put ourselves in that kind of place, where liberation becomes a level of discipline, then the ability within oneself to become the whole vibration works its way out. That's why it was important that on the 45th day, the 46th day, sitting in meditation every day was important, because it was the reflection, it was the patience. On my Discipline 101, I put the highest level of intelligence is observation. Have you taken some time to sit down and become disciplined and to study how you're doing things, how you're achieving things, how your mentality is growing? See, each of us deserves to be that kind of light in this world. You all deserve to utilize your energies at the maximum and optimum performance. The being within yourself asks you for it, asks you to believe in yourself to that point. And now, as I grow even farther, I want to share with you how to overcome things like egos. Okay. Recognize positivity in that ability inside of yourself to have understanding that other people might be uplifted by you. This is really being a blessing within this universe. Those people that ask the questions on how to do that, how to achieve that, are seeking it out in places that aren't within. When we seek it out within ourselves, that is where the true yogi lives. The true guru is within you. The true guru is within your mastery. It's within your purpose, within your own path. And so, that brings me great joy to understand that I can overcome things like that. That I can see a level of understanding where others can too. And when we find it within ourselves to overcome ego, when we give ourselves that place to get there, then we deserve to be the bosses in our professions, the owners within our homes, the companions that others deserve. And so this is a lesson in growth, my friends. It's a lesson in your journey, simplicity within your paths. Your path is worth it. Your purpose is to be you. When you seek out this, the path finds its way. The purpose finds its journey. The ability of understanding becomes within oneself. When we become that, beauty comes out within you. What do I mean by this? When you feel joy just being yourself, if we take two people out here in Prescott, they have a lake, so beautiful, has rocks around it. Arizona rocks is so beautiful. The energy of the lake. I've gone there before. I've turned the water to where it heads in the other direction with vocal meditation. And when you're sitting there, you're recognizing the joy. When you see other people that don't enjoy this journey, it's because they're not in understanding of themselves. Those are people that are seeking out lessons from other people instead of who they are. When we gain it within ourselves, when we gain it within our purpose, when we access the Akashi records of knowledge within the universe, it already exists. We all know that there's knowledge all around us. Are we accessing that part that we are becoming, yet but like the ocean, where wealth comes from within, where the universe yields because you came along? See, that's what I was asking the question as I was driving these people around. Do you care about yourselves? and I wanted to help them. I wanted them to feel liberation in their own understanding. Hundreds of people, thousands of people, seeking out one's being and one's purpose in understanding. So, you can connect with my network, Motivation, Meditation, Inspiration. You have the ability, you can subscribe, you can leave comments, you can put your way in which my videos help you. I know this stuff works, my friends, because when I was sleeping in my van and I found myself, I found joy in washing my clothes. Simplicity of being yourself is what matters the most. The beauty inside of you shines when you are who you are. The understanding becomes the light in the universe. I'm getting ready to close here for the day. I want to say blessings to you all. I want you to be great on your journeys, great on your paths, great in your place where this might lighten your load, where you understand that you are an inspiration. Before I go, let me show you what I mean. Every day, I asked myself this question. In my motivation, in my meditation, in my inspiration, if I'm not one of the three, I don't want it. And the reason why I don't want it is because we are meant to be blessings on the face of this planet. And I believe in you all. I believe that you have a purpose, you have a path, you have a journey. And when you achieve that, and you listen to these messages, okay, because I have so many of them, that it uplifts you, remember to share with other people what I teach you today. Let it uplift you and let the way you vibrate bring positivity to the people around you through understanding. Understanding sometimes it's not just you, okay? It's when you understand that other people have challenges too, that you overcome the ego. It's when you understand that what you're going through is a blessing on the face of the planet. When we embrace ourselves at that level where that light shows up. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Hello?
Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
Blessed. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Wow, so you use your heart quite a bit, huh? And a lot of the things
What?
that you do, you use your heart, huh?
Are you talking to me?
Uh-huh.
I don't get it.
Okay, well, I can definitely tell that you're not communicating exactly clearly, but I'm just saying I do energy readings, so um,
Oh,
a lot of the energy that you use is green energy that has to deal with matters of the heart. I'm sure a lot of people that are around you come to you for your opinion on how your heart is, huh? All right. So I'll give time for one more energy reading before I go. So when we are willing to help out other people, we're willing to put ourselves in a place where we use our discipline within ourselves, other people see. And the point is, when we uplift other people and we help other people to understand themselves, it's like being that ocean and allowing the fishes to gain from the wealth of you being on the face of the planet. And I believe you all have that. You all are that wealth. It's when you believe that within yourself that it lights up. Well, I'm at pretty much almost the hour mark now, so I'm getting ready to close. And I just want you all to be blessed and to understand yourselves, to understand your purpose, to have observation to the ultimate level of intelligence. Blessings within this universe, purpose within this universe, journey, focused knowledge and discipline, focus beyond focus, knowledge beyond knowledge, discipline beyond discipline, to the point of reflection, of motivation, meditation,